A multi-agency high-speed chase stretched for more than 20 miles along Highway 101 from Newport to Lincoln City on Thursday. Authorities were tracking the suspect, Tyler Mullen, who was wanted for allegedly stealing an e-bike earlier that morning. Fox 12's Leslie Dominique is in Lincoln City, where the driver lost control and was taken into custody.
Well, there wasn't a restaurant or a store that we walked into on Friday where someone hadn't heard of the chase. The suspect was arrested just behind me on Southeast 51st Street. Those who watched along say that he drove erratically and put others in danger. He even lost a tire in the process.
The guy was not stopping went through multiple small towns where the speed limit's 20 miles an hour, and he's going 70, putting just so many lives at risk. It was so reckless.
It all started in Waldport Thursday morning. Authorities say 32-year-old Tyler Mullen broke into Simply Storage on Southwest Range Drive, taking an e-bike and about $50 in petty cash, leaving in this lifted red Dodge pickup. The truck was later found in a Fred Meyer lot in Newport, the plates matching security footage from Simply Storage. According to court documents, an officer pointed a firearm and gave commands, but Mullen did not comply, driving off northbound on Coast Highway. That set off a more than 20-mile high-speed chase involving Newport Police, OSP, Lincoln City Police, and the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. At Highway 101 and Northwest 25th Street, police say Mullen clipped a vehicle, causing minor damage, and kept going. Locals observing the pursuit say he drove into oncoming traffic at high speeds, narrowly missing cars, and along the way, he lost a tire. Jenny and Ian Nelson captured video of the truck as it approached Lincoln City. They feared for their own safety.
And the screeching from the truck.
The metal of the rim that was destroyed on the truck caught my attention, and I proceeded to video it and saw tons of sparks, and it was going by me about 75 miles an hour, so it's very scary.
Court documents say Mullen ran over spike strips, damaging multiple tires. He lost control on Southeast 51st Street in Lincoln City, driving straight toward a construction zone. Police say he tried to run, but it was ultimately construction workers who restrained him. Salon owner Angie Taylor was with a client watching the shocking scene.
Instantly, all the police enforcement, all the different agencies came screaming into the intersection. Guns, dogs, like the whole thing. They're doing so much construction. There's guys everywhere all the time. Like, it was legitimately a blessing that nobody was in the road when he came screaming through.
Mullen was taken into custody and booked at the Lincoln County Jail. He now faces a long list of charges, including theft and recklessly endangering another person. I spoke with the manager at Simply Storage. She tells me that the e-bike was returned. However, it is likely totaled. For now, reporting in Lincoln City, Leslie Dominique, Fox 12 Oregon.